it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So it is the week of my biggest market of the year. I'm out here doing a little bit of work on my dahlias this morning and some work on my zinnias, and I thought I'd film a video for you guys because I have had a lot of questions lately about why I put bags on my dahlias. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I grow cut flowers in zone 5A here in Northwest Iowa. We are full of rural farming communities. We grow corn and beans here in this part of the state. And one of the huge pests that we have, that I have this time of year, is the corn rootworm beetle. We also have cucumber beetles, but the corn rootworm beetle is the one that has been wreaking havoc on my garden this year. So the reason that I put these bags on top of my dahlias is to basically save them from the bugs. So let me just zoom in here a little bit and show you what these look like. So typically this time of year, which is late September, I'm dealing with all kinds of bugs, and I bag my dahlias anyway just for this specific market because I need as many blooms as possible. However, this year we have been in an extreme drought and the bugs came a whole month earlier than they normally do. And I'll throw a picture up on the screen of what these bugs look like, but they're little green beetles. The cucumber beetles have spots on them. And basically, let me take one of these bags off to show you guys what it looks like. So here's what the dahlia bud looks like, and it's just starting to burst open. Now this should open within the next few days because the petals are starting to lift and there is color on the bud. Some of these that aren't doing anything won't be open this week. So anything that looks like this or hasn't started lifting the petals yet, but I'm seeing some color, I'm bagging because I think it might open this week. So the bags that I use, I get on Amazon, and I will link them down below. They are pretty inexpensive. You can order them anywhere from 50 all the way up to 200 quantities. I think the ones that I ordered most recent were 200 for maybe $26. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. There's a lot of traffic this morning out on the road. But anyway, the size that I like the best is a 6x9 size. Now I think this is a 5x7. This looks a little bit smaller, but I tend to like the 6x9 size. And basically, these bags, if you're not familiar, they have two drawstrings. So I just put it over top of my dahlia. You want to make sure to leave some headspace because as a dahlia opens, it needs a little room to expand. And then I tend to go below a set of leaves so it's right around a stem. Whoa, it's getting windy out here. And then I cinch it really tight so that no bugs can crawl up the stem. Now also, before I typically put the I like to shake it or kind of hit the bud, make sure there's not any bugs in there because you don't want to trap the bugs inside the bag because then they're just gonna eat away inside the bag. One other thing, you also want to make sure to get the white because you want as much light to travel through as possible. So I have had really good luck with this method. I prefer not to spray. If I do spray something, it is a natural substance, organic, but my flowers, because they go into other people's homes and you never know how people can react to certain substances. I have a lot of allergies, and so I never want anyone to react to my flowers with something I have treated them. So I do not spray. So the first thing that I do to protect them from bugs is to use these organza bags. Again, I'll link them down below. And then once the flowers open and they're ready to harvest, of course, I will harvest the flower, put it in the fridge. I'll take the bag off and just move it to another bud. So that this time of year is how I'm protecting my dahlias. Let's hop out to the zinnia patch. I am using a few organza bags on my zinnias, but I am protecting those in a different way. So let me jump out there and show you that. All right, so we're out in the zinnia patch, and as you can see, I have started bagging some of my zinnias. Last year, in fact, was the first year that I did that, and I really just am doing it as a precaution. None of these blooms are damaged yet. I really just want to make sure that they don't get damaged because walking through here this morning, I saw lots of both the cucumber beetles and the corn rootworm beetles. But basically, to combat things out in this patch, I walk through with a bucket of soapy water, and I knock the bugs into there and it drowns them, and that is how I compact the bugs out here. So it's a really simple process. Basically, I just take one of my Black Johnny's buckets and I take some Dawn dish soap, I put a few drops in there, and then fill it up about a quarter away with water. You don't want it too heavy because lugging a heavy bucket around in the zinnias sometimes isn't the easiest thing, and when you're putting the bucket in the middle of the patch to drop the bugs into it, you want to make sure that you're not damaging any other potential bloom. So I take this bucket of soapy water and I basically just walk up and down the patch and I gently tap the flowers to knock the bugs into the bucket. And they swim around for a little bit, but then they soon stop swimming and they drown, and that is how I get rid of them. Now, as you know, when you harvest zinnias, you do the wiggle test because you want to make sure that your stems are strong enough to harvest. So when you're knocking the bugs off of these blooms that are not yet ready to harvest, you need to make sure to do it really carefully because you don't want to bend or damage that stem, because then your flower will not be harvestable. So you just want to be careful when you do it, but it's really easy. And sometimes you can see the bugs on the flower and sometimes you can't. They're hidden up under the petals. So just make sure that you're knocking it or tapping it very gently and they'll drop right into the bucket. But that's how I'm combating the bugs out here. And again, that is a natural way to get rid of the bugs without having to spray. So my plan for the rest of the week leading up to the harvest, because I'm not going to be harvesting these for 3 days, is to walk the path every morning and afternoon, knocking the bugs off into the bucket. And then I'm going to keep these organza bags on these blooms to protect the ones, gosh, it's getting windy out here, to protect the ones that are, you know, blooming out so far. But I'm thinking in a few days I'm going to have a lot to harvest out of this patch. If you saw one of my recent videos, I completely deadheaded this entire patch about a week ago, or a week and a half ago, I guess, already, to rejuvenate it. And I mean, it's coming back strong and it's looking good. The next 4 days are going to be in the 80s, and so this patch is really going to start putting on the blooms. One other thing quick I should mention: when you put these bags on a stem that is not fully developed, don't put it up high or that bloom's just going to tip right over. You want to make sure to put it down a few set of leaves on the stem. That way you don't have the weight of the bag on the flower and it's not going to collapse. You want to make sure to protect that stem. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I hope this information was helpful. I've had a lot of questions lately and I thought, you know, I should just do a video on that to share that with you guys. Again, they're linked down below if you want to order them for your own garden. This is the best way that I have found to protect my dahlias, and shaking the bugs off into that bucket of soapy water is the best way that I have found to protect the zinnias. And like I said, honestly, once I go through a few days in a row of getting those bugs off of my zinnias, I really see a lull in what they are eating out there. So it definitely helps, and they are, you know, non-spray ways that you can protect your flowers. So the next videos that you guys are probably going to see is my vlogs of the big market that I'm doing this weekend. So watch for those. It's my favorite day of the year. So anyway, I will make sure to cover it for you guys. Stay tuned for that. We'll see you soon.